Welcome. Have you ever wondered what you need to do to become rich or actually wealthy? Guess what? Wonder no more. Today I have 8 lessons to help you become wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. Welcome back to Wealth and Wellness with Grace. On today's episode, you get to learn some of the things that have helped me and helped so many people become rich and actually progress to wealth. One is learning about your spending habits. Are you addicted to spending? I can confess, I used to be a spending addict. Okay? Everything was a sale in my head. And if it said 5% off, I was buying it, even if I didn't need it. So I had to learn my spending habits and change my behavior to get better. Because that's how you actually get better with your finances. So learn about those spending habits that you have. And if you don't have that bad habit, thank you. Let's move on to the next point. Another point is, do you have a problem with debt and you don't know anything about financial planning? Always going to pay their loans before you even get paid, every time. So guess what? You don't have a hand on your finances. You got to do better, because that's going to cost you interest and interest and interest. You see, credit card spending over the limit every month. You're spending more, and it's not just you ruining your credit, it's ruining your life. So how can you do better with that? You see, because you have to address the problem. Find out what is causing you to always be in debt and fix that problem, because that's how it starts. And therefore, have a goal and focus on those goals, because that's how you get better. Another point is having an emergency fund. That's a big thing. I know a lot of people, every time, especially coming from Africa, oh my God, it's draining sometimes. Everybody, Grace, send me this. Grace, send me that. Grace, send me this. And I'm like, I used to be. This is Grace 10 years ago. Here, 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 here. But where is the emergency fund for Grace? Big zero. So I used to have the challenge of having an emergency fund, because before even hit my account, it was already budgeted for. I never had enough. So I had to remember, you have to become self-sufficient. Take care of you. You see, if everything you're putting in is always coming out, you never get your cup to be overflowing. You're supposed to give whatever is overflowing. You see this, Lopa? Guess what? If it's not over here, trying to flow out of it, guess what? You don't have nothing to give. Because whatever is in this little plant needs to sustain this plant. So that's how you have to look at your life. Everything else can wait, because everything seems to be an emergency in everybody else's life. How about yours? You're killing yourself, because you need to become self-sufficient. I like this low chart that they have that is called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like this. It's like, yeah, you see, it's a pyramid. So in the basic needs, you see, you think about your basic needs. Most of us don't even have our basic needs, but we're so worried about everybody else's. And yet on that graph, it tells you to become self-actualized at the very top of the pyramid. Guess what? You need to make sure all the other needs are fulfilled. That's how life works. So we can't blame everybody else, the ones you give it to, because it's not their fault sometimes. Sometimes it's not their fault, truly. So it might not be their fault that they need the help. The problem is, if we continue giving the help and we don't have it to give, who's to blame? To me, I feel like we have to take accountability. So for me, I took accountability by saying no. And no wasn't pretty. You see, no wasn't light. And I'm sure so many people don't like me up to this day, because I started saying no. But that's what I had to do for my life, and to get better, and to be able to sustain myself and my family, because I was just running on empty. You can't continue running on empty. You hear me? You cannot, and you should not. continue running on empty. Next point. This is a great point about ignoring passive streams of income. So many times we think, okay, some people might invite you to opportunities, kind of claiming that these opportunities are supposed to be passive income streams. You need to do your research. Do not invest in what you can't understand. So having passive streams of income is commendable and it's great and it's amazing. The problem is we've spent money which we shouldn't be spending. Okay, we're spending money sponsoring schemes that are not building us. So find out exactly what is the passive stream of income they're talking about before you invest in it. Do your research. Stop trusting people blindly, because that's why we are spending money and it's not coming back. You see? So let's do better doing our research. Start saving some money into passive and actual passive returns on our money. And this can be real estate, this can be stocks, this can be other, maybe putting together a fund to do different businesses, but we have to do better with that. Educating yourself is one of the best investments you can actually utilize to grow your finances. Most times we think, okay, if I'm putting in so much work to work on myself, that's a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of this, a waste of that. Guess what? That is money that is always going to compound and nobody can ever take that away from you. So I always say that the best investments that I made, they really were in me. You see, investing in education, investing in my kids' education, you see, that is money. You see, it's like it's going to compound with time. Even investing in these videos are not free. So I'm educating you, but guess what? The retaining of the knowledge, nobody can take that away from me. So continue educating yourself. Learn about all these different things instead of waiting for people to educate you all the time. And that's how we grow and get better, and especially get better in our finances. Another big problem that causes people not to have a grip on their finances is fear. We fear risk. We fear each and everything, and then we become stagnant. I don't want to do anything about it. You think you're safe. Sorry, you're not safe. You can save the money in a bank, in the savings. It's going to give you 0.000 whatever percentage they're giving you. You see? So, and you know the saying, the higher the risk, the higher the return. So you're going to either risk it, especially if you've done your research, because then, like the previous point talked about making sure that you do your research such that when you step ahead and you're like, I'm ready to invest, you see, you got to do better. Invest knowing that it's going to come with its own risk, but it's always going to be a big return as well. But the risk is always going to be there. I can give you a good example. There's this lady I was assisting last year to purchase a home. This lady, I've known her for years actually. So if you know my story, this lady actually, I used to be a neighbor next to her for years when I was living in that particular duplex, which I talked about. We got evicted and all those things. She was also evicted at the same time. Unfortunately, they moved into an apartment, another apartment, and another apartment. So they've been renting since then. Do you know since 2013, I've never rented? And it's coming to 2024. It's over 10 years now. Do you know that's 10 years of built equity in my home, and I'm not on just one home. I'm on several homes now. Because did you know that you can have 10 homes in your name? 10. So this point is really important, what I'm trying to emphasize here. If you're not careful and you keep renting, I'm not going to say you're throwing away money, because you're helping me get rich and getting other investors get rich, which is not a bad thing. If your situation allows you to get into a home, but you're so fearful, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Because like for her, finally she agreed to move forward last year. The problem is the fear paralyzed her, because we got pre-approved every time we got a house. I don't think it's going to be possible for me. I don't know. I prayed about it. I don't think it's time. I don't think. You've wasted 10 years already. How much more time do you need? And before, when I lived in that apartment, I had stayed there for 7 years. So that's 17 years that she's wasted, because we used to be neighbors from the very beginning. So 17 years, this year marks 18 years. So how many more years do you need to get over that fear? So I'm sorry if I'm sharing her story and not to shame her. I just want her, if she ever listens to this video, I hope she doesn't, because I'm really sharing so much about her. But I wish she understood why I was so passionate about helping her get into a home last year. Because I was like, you've wasted so much time already. This is the time. Let's do it. Whatever it is, whatever fear, you conquer it by doing. And that's how fear works. You're going to always have the fear. If you never done it before, it's natural. And if somebody says they've never been scared of anything, they're abnormal. Because psychologically and physically, our bodies have fear. You see, that's how we are built. And so the more you do it, whatever it is, then you conquer that fear. So do it anyway. And in doing it anyway, let's talk about how our health plays a big thing. Your health is your foundation to this wealth journey. You see? So I'm passionate about educating people, especially learning that primary health care is everything. I see a lot of people, they show up at the hospital and it's really discouraging when it's the same thing over and over and over. And then I always sit down and talk to them. Like, in fact, one of them told me that I missed my calling. He said that I should have been a sergeant in the army. Because I sat him down and I was like, gentlemen, this is what we're going to do. We need to understand what is the problem here. Like, seriously, why do you keep coming back to the hospital? Are you so depressed that you can't stay home and take care of yourself? What are we doing? Because other nurses are scared to talk about these things because, of course, we don't get extra to talk about. You see, to really help people talk about the basics and primary health care. But this is what I went to school for. Because, you know, I have a health education degree on top of the nursing degree. So I was really passionate about teaching people in the community about primary education. Primary education, things you need to be doing at home. You see, what are you eating? Are you exercising enough? Are you sleeping enough? All that helps. In one of my previous videos, we talked about, actually, it was 3 different videos: wellness solutions, wellness challenges, and also the dynamics of wellness. Please listen to those videos, watch those videos, because I shared so much information that can help you and your family. Recently, I watched a documentary and it's on Netflix. It was talking about how your food is killing you. At first, I didn't want to watch this because I've always watched most of these documentaries and it's always similar things. But this was a twin documentary. I was inquisitive to learn what happened between the twin who had the vegetarian diet versus the meat filled and, you see, diet. Guess what? It was a big transformation. It was a big eye-opening transformation for me. And through that documentary, I decided to cut down on my meat intake. I do not want my food to kill me. No, I can do better. You see? So, and those are the things we can do. Implement small steps here and there. You see? I used to eat a lot out last year. Guess what? This year, I'm using my crock pot. You see? And I'm not putting a lot of meat in there. I'm making sure that I cut down on my meat intake. Because I don't want to be killed just because of the food that I'm eating in one day. No, it's not worth it. So please, think about your health differently. Go into your health checkups. Don't just show up to the hospital every time in the hospital to be admitted when it's worse. We need to start thinking about those things now. And last but not least, actually, this is one of my favorite things I need to talk about. It's about the mindset. You got to shift your short-term mindset. Wealth is long-term. So, and it compounds. So if you're thinking about, I want this, get rich that, guess what? Most people who get that are lucky. You see, most people playing the lottery, they're spending more money and most of that money will never come back. If you're one of those people trying to, what can I do now? And think about right now? No. Think about long term. Long term, because the long-term wealth will compound. That short term, sometimes it doesn't, and it costs you more time and more money and you never get it back. So we gotta do better, people. So I hope you learned a thing or two out of these 8 tips. Please implement them in your daily life because they definitely transform mine. And I hope they do the same for you. Until next time.